One of the biggest mistakes killing your metal vocals is not enough compression. And I'm going to show you the exact two-step vocal chain that fixes it in the next 10 minutes. So you've tracked your vocals. Maybe it's a brutal screamed part. Maybe it's clean singing. Maybe it's both. You pull up a compressor and you set it to the classic 3-to-1 ratio, 5 or 6 dB of gain reduction. You know, the safe mode, the textbook move, and it sounds fine. It sounds okay in solo, but then you drop it in the mix with your guitars and your drums and it just disappears. The vocal is there 1 second, gone the next. The loud part cuts through, but the quiet parts get swallowed. You start cranking the volume. You start pushing the fader up. But now the loud parts are blasting your ears and the quiet parts are still buried. You end up riding the fader the entire song, trying to keep the vocal audible, and it never feels right. Now, full transparency, compression is just one piece of my vocal chain. I also EQ before I compress, I add saturation with decapitator, I de-ess, I add tape saturation, and I limit at the end. I've got a whole video breaking down my complete vocal chain if you want the full picture. But today, I want to isolate just the compression so you can hear exactly what it's doing on its own. Because once you hear what these two compressors are doing, you'll never go back to gentle compression again. Let me show you what I mean in real time. Here's a raw screen vocal. No compression at all. Let's take a listen.
The desire to hold you closer, the further we grow apart.
Hear how the attack of the scream is way louder than the tail end? The first syllable punches you in the face, and then the sustain just falls off a cliff. Now let's add that textbook compression. 3-to-1 ratio, around 5 or 6 dB of gain reduction with a medium attack. Basically, the compressor everyone recommends.
The desire to hold you closer, the further we grow apart.
It's a little more controlled, sure, but listen to what happens when I put this in a full mix with quad track guitars, bass, and drums.
The desire to hold you closer, the further we grow apart.
You hear that? The vocal's fighting for its life in there. It's definitely poking through on the loud attacks, but the body of the vocal, the tone, the aggression, it's all getting swallowed. This is the problem with gentle compression on metal vocals. Metal is loud. Metal is dense. A vocal with that kind of dynamic range has zero chance of sitting on top of a wall of distorted guitars. Zero. So let's break down why gentle compression fails on metal vocals. There's 3 reasons. First, metal vocals have an insane dynamic range. A screamed vocal can swing 20 to 30 dB from the attack to the sustain. That's not a subtle difference. That's the difference between hearing the vocal and not hearing it at all. 5 to 6 dB of compression on a 25 dB swing is like putting a Band-Aid on a broken leg. It doesn't even come close to taming the problem. Second, metal mixes are brutal. You've got double-tracked high-gain guitars eating up the mid-range. You've got a kick drum and a bass fighting for the low end. You've got cymbals filling up the top. There is nowhere for a dynamic vocal to hide. If your vocal isn't consistent, it will get lost. Period. And third, the vocal is the one thing the listener needs to hear. Think about it. People can forgive a mediocre guitar tone. They can forgive a drum sound they don't love. But if they can't hear the vocal, the song is over. The vocal carries the melody, the emotion, the aggression. It has to be front and center from the first word to the last, every single second. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to compress the vocal, not 5 dB, not 10 dB. We're going to crush it to about 20 dB of compression. And it's going to sound wrong before it sounds perfect. Trust me. The first compressor in the chain is the CLA 76. This is an 1176 style compressor. And the reason this goes first is critical. It's all about the attack. The CLA 76 has a lightning fast attack. We're talking microseconds. That means it catches every single transient, every hard consonant, every attack of a scream, every explosive syllable. This thing grabs it immediately. No transient slips through at all. Now here's where it gets scary. Set the ratio to all buttons in if you're dealing with screamed vocals. Turn the input up until you're getting about 20 dB of gain reduction on the meter. Yes, 20. I know that sounds insane. It sounds like it should destroy the vocal. And honestly, if you listen to it in solo right now,
the desire to hold you closer, the further we grow apart.
It sounds overcompressed. It sounds flat. It sounds like there's no life left in the vocal at all. And if this was the only compressor we used, you'd be right. It'd be too flat. But this is step 1, not the final sound. This is the foundation. What we just did is make the vocal incredibly consistent. The quiet parts and the loud parts are now in the same ballpark. Nothing is jumping out. Nothing is hiding. The vocal is one even controlled signal. That's what we need before we add anything else. Now, before I show you step 2, if you're finding this helpful, hit that like button. It actually helps the video reach more people who need it. And if you want my complete vocal recording guide that covers everything you need to know to record killer vocals at home. The link is in the description. It's free. Grab it. All right, so we crushed the vocal with the CLA 76. It's consistent, it's controlled, but it's also flat and lifeless. This is where step 2 comes in. Enter the CLA 2A. This is an LA 2A style optical compressor, and its character is the exact opposite of the 76. The CLA 2A has a slow attack and a program-dependent release. It doesn't catch transients. It lets them through. It doesn't clamp down fast. It gently rides the signal, and that's exactly what we need now. Set the CLA 2A for about 5 to 7 dB of gain reduction. That's it. You're not trying to control dynamics anymore. The 76 already handled that. What you're doing is adding musicality back. The slow attack lets the front end of each word through uncompressed. That means the initial transient, the attack of the vocal, punches through clear and present. Then the 2A gently squeezes the sustain, gluing the vocal together and giving it weight and body. Let me show you what this sounds like. Here's our vocal with just the CLA 76 crushed.
The desire to hold you closer, the further we grow apart.
Flat, right? No life. Now let me add the CLA 2A behind it. Same signal, just adding that second stage.
The desire to hold you closer, the further we grow apart.
That's a noticeable difference. The vocal has consistency from the 76, but now it also has punch, weight, and movement from the 2A. The attacks are present, the sustain is smooth and full, it sounds like a professional vocal. This is the two-step chain that gives you both control and life. But the real test is how it sounds in a mix, right? Let's take our completely raw vocal and drop it into the full track.
The desire to hold you closer, the further we grow apart.
It's completely buried and fighting for its life. Now let me bring in our two-stage compressed vocal. Same mix, same guitars, same everything.
The desire to hold you closer, the further we grow apart.
And there it is. The vocal sits on top of the entire mix like it was always supposed to. The attacks cut through the wall of guitars. The sustain stays present and full. You don't have to ride the fader. You don't have to crank the volume. The vocal just works. This is the sound you've been chasing. So let's recap. One of the biggest mistakes when mixing metal vocals is not compressing them enough. Gentle, textbook compression can't tame the dynamic range of a screamed or sung metal vocal, and it can't compete in the density of a metal mix. The fix is a two-step compression chain. Step 1 is the CLA 76 or any 1176 style compressor first. Fast attack, crush the vocal with about 20 dB of gain reduction. This gives you consistency and control. Step 2 is the CLA 2A or any LA 2A style compressor after it. Slow attack, 5 to 7 dB of gain reduction. This adds punch, life, and musicality back into the vocal. The 76 controls it, the 2A makes it feel alive. If this video helped you out, please hit that like button, subscribe for more content just like this, and let me know in the comments what your go-to vocal compression chain is for metal. To help you dial in your vocal recordings before you even get to compression, I put together a free guide for recording vocals at home like a pro. The link is in the description. And if you want me to personally mix your next track and apply these techniques for you, check out my mixing services, also in the description. Now, if you want to see how this compression fits into my complete vocal chain with EQ, saturation, de-essing, and limiting, I'll link that right here. Now go make your vocals cut through the mix.